parenting is such a vulnerable thing in general, and we learn as we go. And I think so often, especially if you're adding to your family at all too, like I always joke, you know, I feel like we had it all figured out, and then my second came along and I was like, what? I don't know what I'm doing, you know? And it is hard to say, oh gosh, I need help with this, or, you know, I'm struggling here as a mom or a dad. And it shouldn't be, because we all struggle every day as a parent, and you also succeed every day too. You know, I always say it's parenting's like playing the accordion. There's times you can loosen the reins and times you can tighten up, but you always kind of are shooting from the hip, if that makes sense. Even as a veteran parent, you know, which I tell my parents too. I'm like, you know, that I see my clients, I'm like, you know, even if you consider yourself a veteran parent, you're still learning every day and learning something new. So yeah, I think the job that is most vulnerable I've ever felt is being a mom, for sure.
It can expose so much.
Yeah,
within
the good and the bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I honestly, and in a society where it's almost like you should just have it figured out.
Right.
You need to do this on your own.
Right.
But we don't.
No.
And that's, if there's anything we can express in this podcast,
Yeah.
from this side of the coin, that is
Yeah.
your life. It's parenting isn't a solo job.
No.
You don't have to do it by yourself.
Totally. Yes.
And so reach out.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And I think too, you're kind of hitting something like I'm a perfectionist by nature, which is sometimes I think a real benefit, but other times I think not so much. And I do think that you're never going to be perfect at anything, especially being a parent. And I think something that I really want to teach my kids or show my kids are the moments that I'm not perfect. Like, I really just messed up right there. I shouldn't have yelled when I did, instead of, you know, kind of pushing it all under and like, let's not talk about it. Because it's hard when you get older and then you see your parents, you're like, wait, those are real people. Like, I want my kids, like, I am a real person, and I am tired some days more than others, or I didn't handle that right, or, you know, things like that. I think that piece of vulnerability in parenting is so hard, but it's so important to show our kids.
And we did get the notion that we have to be perfect. We're
Totally.
showing them the
Yes,
way.
right, exactly. We know it all.
We have to know it all.
Yeah.
Do as I say, not as I do.
Right,
even.
right.
Like, that's such a repeat theme.
Right.
But if we don't give our kids room to make mistakes,
Yeah.
what are we teaching them?
Right. And again, you know, especially like my oldest can be pretty perfectionist type too, but that's why I'm like, it's so important for her to see us fall, you know, too. Like, see, we didn't do that right, and we still stood back up and brushed ourselves off and moved forward. And I think those things are really important, but it's hard to not kind of repeat the way that we were maybe raised, because, and again, I mean, it's just, we've learned and evolved. I mean, I think that everybody does the best that they can, but that piece I think is something that I really try to work on best I can. I don't hit it every time, but I think that piece is important.
Well, thank you for sharing that part of it coming in. I know we hadn't planned on that.
No, that's okay, right?
But it's so helpful to be able to share all the well-roundedness, because now that we're diving into Wigged Out, you know, you have all these facets of who you are.
Yeah.
And it all lends to part of your story and your journey.